Hey everyone, so this video is about some of the mistakes that we did while um, I was working for a PropTech startup called Different. And, these learnings are very important from the perspective of building a new product and especially at a smaller team. Now let's start with the first one. A lot of times people, discuss about whether you should think long term or short term, whether you should optimize for pragmatism over a solution which is foolproof, over a solution which is completely built. My understanding from this experience was that we should always think long term on key decisions. So, if there is anything which is consequential to your business, core to your business, think about long term perspective and think about a solution that can give you long term benefits. And from the experience standpoint, from the business standpoint, so, for example, when we were trying to, build a trust accounting product, and at the heart of the trust accounting product is to process inbound payments and also process outbound payments. And these inbounds and outbound processes or pathways are integrated with different banking systems. Now, in case of inbound payments, we try to build our own parser or an engine which could parse all different type of files, for example ABA files, BPA files, and there are all banks like there is a TXN file, QIF file, Westpac has their own files. So we try to build an engine which could input which could take in any type of file, and it can scrape the data from that, the metadata of each transaction, and it can feed into our system. And it was so difficult to kind of maintain it, and it was also very difficult to be able to kind of scale it and extend that solution, because you're trying to build a lot of things in a very short span of time, and that created a lot more problems that we could imagine. And instead of that, we all already had evaluated using an open banking solution, for example, Yodlee or Basic. So we could have, we should have tried integrating with one of those solutions, and that could have given us faster time to market, and it could also helped us kind of scale our solution quickly, because we are also trying to pivot our business from B2C to B2B. So customer experience was very critical for us, and most importantly, it could have also kind of given us a leeway when we could have built our own parser, our own engine, and we could have replaced this basic or maybe third-party solutions at a later point of time. We could have saved cost. Instead of that, we try to build our own solution right from get-go, and that resulted in a lot of poor experience. Just to fix all of those things, we had to build a lot of business processes, ad hoc business processes, a lot of tactical solutions. It was a pretty bad decision. So think long term on key decisions. Number two, don't over optimize for short term goals. When we're trying to pivot our business from B2C to B2B, there were a lot of problems that were supposed to be solved, so that we could keep our cost of services low, so that we don't have to hire more people to kind of process all these trust accounting related things or leasing related processes and stuff like that. But we did not know that how successful our B2B product will be. So we tried to take a lot of shortcuts. We assumed that some of the use cases are pretty edge, they will not happen. We underestimated the value of unknown unknowns, and we always consider the best case scenarios. And we always kept looking at what is the next problem that we have, what is the next problem that we have, what is the next problem that we have. And this typical Silicon Valley style, the YC kind of advice is that if you really want to test a particular solution, and just try to test it in the real world and see what is not working, and then kind of fix it, and then again relaunch it. We tried to take it a little bit too far, especially in this case. So my learning is that don't over optimize for short term goals. you should definitely think about the customer experience. It can result into poor customer experience. You should also think about maintainability of software. You should also think about your team's morale, who will have to kind of put out the fires day in and day out. And most importantly, the important thing here is to evaluate whether these short-term solutions or tactical solutions are uh, how many are there in number. They are one or two or five, or they are 5% of all the products that we are building, or they are like 70% of all the products that you are building. So this particular approach of building for short-term goals, we really took it a bit too far, and we built a lot of tactical solutions. They had cascading impact. They were kind of interacting with each other, and they sort of snowballed into a much bigger problem, which was very difficult to kind of diagnose and debug, and complexities kept increasing, and all of this resulted into tech debt and design debt. It was very difficult to kind of work in such kind of environment for employees as well. Number three, this is the tried and tested advice that start from customer experience and then find the right technology. We also kind of ignored this particular advice. We chose a cost-effective solution at the cost, and because we wanted to kind of keep our cost of operations and processes low, and that was one of the metric that we wanted to kind of make sure that it is lower, because it could definitely give your business a lot more scalability, and it will look good on your financial model, and it could give you valuation and things like that, but it resulted into suboptimal customer experience. And we essentially, rather than finding out the best technology or turnkey solution which is there in the market, we try to build a lot of things in-house, just to keep our the cost per property low, the cost of service low, and we try to build a lot of these things in-house in a short period of time, and that again created problems. And in my view, we should have started with a best customer experience, and then try to find the right technology over a period of time, and we try to optimize the cost, as because we already knew that how to do that. So that's another mistake that we did. Number four is that when we are trying to kind of integrate with a third-party solution, we should try to keep the switching cost very low, and we should invest in loosely coupled API integration. We had an integration with Macquarie's payment gateway, and we had a very deep integration with their web services, and their web services are almost so rigid that it was very difficult to kind of get anything changed on their services side. There was not much in terms of error logs, or any data that we could look at, and we could diagnose the problems if there is any problem with our kind of transaction processing. So it was very difficult to kind of switch from a queries payment gateway to a modern payment gateway solution, which was just HelloZai or Assembly, and it was so difficult to kind of move, that we had to invest about 4 sprints worth of time just to refactor the code in such a way that the new architecture could support loosely coupled integrations with third-party kind of payment gateway solutions. Number 5, when we are trying to evaluate a third-party solution for some integration, we should try to do proof of concept before finalizing the solution, and we should try to do it with a couple of alternatives. So there are like different ways in which you evaluate a third-party solution. You look at their pricing, you look at their support, you look at their roadmap, you look at their the integration approaches and synergy and stuff like that, and you try to see some regulatory processes around which how they are navigating, and there are many other data, and those are different elements that you can kind of look into when you are trying to evaluate a third-party solution. But at the same time, when it comes to integration, don't only look at their API docs and think that it can be easily integrated. You try to integrate it in your solution by doing a small proof of concept. There are a couple of things that you can uncover. Number one is that how scalable their APIs are. Are those APIs really easy to integrate? Are there subsequent API calls which are failing, and you can uncover all those issues. Now I can give you an example that when we started integrating with assembly, what we figured out that their APIs required BSB number and bank name both, and it is really in Australia it is not needed to kind of provide both data. From the BSB number you can figure out the bank name, and this is how we had already integrated Macquarie with our app, and it was working all fine. And when we spoke to them, that they said that is a limitation of our API and we cannot change it. What you can do is that you can maintain a map on your end, and every time a user enters a BSB number, you kind of find out the bank and then send us the bank along with the BSB code as well. But our API requires both, and this was such a big friction point for our users who were sending direct debit, and you really don't want to ask these unnecessary details to your users. So my advice that when you're trying to kind of integrate a third-party solution, try to do a POC and try to do it with multiple alternatives, and then finalize your solution. So 5 key learnings from the tech and product standpoint, especially from the tech standpoint. Number 1, think long term on key decisions. Number 2, don't over optimize for short term goals. Number 3, keep switching cost low, invest in loosely coupled API integrations. Number 4, start from customer experience and then find the right technology. Don't only look at your business metrics and think that what is the solution that can help you achieve those business goals. Number 5, when you're trying to evaluate a third-party solution, do proof of concept before you finalize your third-party solutions. So that's pretty much.